Hello students, a very good morning to you. Let's continue our chapter 12 of class 11, that is mineral nutrients in plants. So today we will study about different type of mineral nutrient and their function and how again they are categorized into different categories on the basis of their diverse function. So as I have explained you in my yesterday's class that different type of mineral nutrients is required by the plant in different amounts, and on that basis they are divided into as macro and micronutrients. Macro means which is required in large amount, whereas micro means which is required in less amount. So this is the basis of requirement of the mineral nutrient by plant, but still again it is categorized into four different types on the basis of their diverse function. Means some elements helps in the opening and closing of stomata, some elements helps in protein synthesis, some elements helps in the synthesis and secretion of enzyme, and some elements also help in flowering, fruiting and bud formation in plants. Like many more functions are depend on the elements, and on that basis again these elements are broadly categorized into four different types, and they are the four different types on the basis of as components of biomolecules or structural elements of the cell. Biomolecules means, as we know that in biomolecules there is protein, RNA and DNA is formed. For the synthesis and preparation of these proteins, DNAs and RNAs, here some elements are needed by plant, and such elements which help in the making the biomolecules or components of biomolecules, they are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Dear students, these are the important nutrients, minerals that is required by the plant for making the biomolecule elements which help in the cell division during when there is DNA, RNA are formed. So next category means what is the next criteria on which they are divided into four categories. The second category, they are as energy released chemical compounds. Energy released chemical compound means, as we know that energy both in animals and plants formed in the form of ATP, means prepared as ATP. So here the element needed is phosphorus. Phosphorus in ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and magnesium in chlorophyll, means without magnesium chlorophyll can't be synthesized or can't be produced in the plant. That's why for the preparation of chlorophyll, which traps sunlight, the most important element is magnesium. So here I have told you energy related chemical compounds, means they are works as the components of energy related chemical compounds. These are the chemical compounds, means one is your phosphorus and another is your magnesium, as we are studying about minerals. So how these minerals participate in doing various functions? So here I have told you for energy related work in plants is depend on phosphorus and magnesium. How? Phosphorus help in the ATP synthesis, whereas magnesium help in the synthesis of chlorophyll. Third character or third criteria is as activator or inhibitor of enzymes, means mineral nutrients or minerals also required by the plant for activator and inhibitor of enzymes. As you know, plants secrete or synthesize 5 different type of enzymes like your auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene and abscisic acid. So the synthesis of or for the synthesis of enzymes, whether the enzyme synthesis should be continued or should be stopped, that is controlled by the intake of these minerals by the plant. Means how some minerals help as inhibitor, doing the function of inhibitor, as well as some elements or some minerals help as activator, means it activates, due to which different parts of the plant secrete and synthesize different type of plant hormones. So here some examples we can take magnesium, which is present in ribulose bisphosphate, carboxylase and oxygenase, that is called as rhubarb. So magnesium in rhubarb acts an activator. And also phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. You will study about these enzymes in the next chapter, that is respiration and photosynthesis in plants. Respiration will come in a separate chapter, and photosynthesis also. In this chapter you will study about these enzymes in details. Here you just only remember how some mineral nutrients or some elements helps as activator or inhibitor. So here I have give you the example magnesium and zinc. Magnesium and zinc acts as the activator. Clear, students? So they are the activator of alcohol dehydrogenase, as well as molybdenum also activates nitrogenase. So what is the function of these enzymes? As we know, during photosynthesis the different carbon products are formed. Clear? So like in case of C3 plants and C4 plants, the carbon products are phosphoenol pyruvate, or we can say for these products they are depend on some enzymatic actions, and these enzymes get activated, means without these enzymes photosynthesis and respiration can't occur in plants. For these enzymes are not present in direct form, so they need to have to activate, means in the active form they will act. So here for their activation some minerals are used by the plants, and those minerals are zinc and molybdenum, which play important role. So zinc activates, or zinc is called as the activator of dehydrogenase, alcohol dehydrogenase, whereas molybdenum is called as the activator of nitrogenase. Clear, students? So next, fourth criteria or essentiality of element means how they are categorized. Fourth, maintains the osmotic potential in the cell. You know about osmotic potential means different type of ions present in different concentration in plants. So how many amount or how much amount of ions should be present inside the cell or outside the cell, that is also determined or detected by some mineral ions. So it helps in the, or it maintains the osmotic potential of the cell, like potassium involved in the opening and closing of stomata. In the previous chapters and previous class, you know that stomata get open, get closed. You know that chlorophyll is present. You know osmotic concentration is maintained in the plant. You know flowering occur in the plant. So how they are occur in the plant? Clear? So what type of mineral nutrients they needed? So here are some examples of mineral nutrients which help in various functions of the plant, either by doing energy formation activities or by forming biomolecules, or as activators or inhibitors, or by help in the opening and closing of stomata. So here potassium is the important mineral that helps in the opening and closing of stomata. Remember, students, this chapter is completely theory, but still many questions in NEET exams come from this chapter, and it is so many confusing about many elements, means some particular elements have same function. So you don't get confused and read your NCERT book again and again, then you can easily able to understand what is the chapter content. So students, here potassium, again I am telling you, potassium is the mineral which is involved in the opening and closing of stomata. It may come as 1 mark question, which mineral helps in the opening and closing of stomata. Clear? Next, chlorine maintains anion cation balance and osmotic potential of the cell. Anion cation balance means some minerals are taken by plant in the form of positive charge and in the form of negative charge. We already discussed, means plants take some positive ion minerals as well as some negative ion minerals. Chlorine, you know that Cl minus, Plant also taken magnesium, which is Mg2 plus, zinc Zn2 plus. So here for the intake of these minerals, chlorine plays an important role. Means due to chlorine, anion cation balance and osmotic potential of the cell can be maintained. Clear, students? So what is osmotic potential of the cell? Due to osmotic potential, the cell is able to take minerals inside it. Means if the mineral is less in the cell, by creating a osmotic potential, means we will study that water potential is equal to solute potential plus pressure potential. So in osmotic potential, means for maintaining the osmotic potential of the cell, here chlorine plays an important role by doing the balance between the anion and cation. Clear? So on this basis, the macro and micronutrients are divided into 4 categories depending on their function. This is point 1, this is 2, this is 3 and this is 4. These 4 points is the most important points. On the basis of these points, all the macronutrient and micronutrients functions like this. So what are macronutrient and what are micronutrient? We already have discussed. So let's see by taking some examples. Clear, students? So macronutrient in plants required by the plants more than 10 millimole kg inverse. We already discussed. And what are the macronutrient? They are nitrogen, then your sulfur, then this is phosphorus, then potassium, magnesium and calcium. Nitrogen, sulfur, potassium, phosphorus, then potassium, magnesium and calcium. They are called as a macronutrients, means these elements or these nutrients required by the plant in large amount. If these elements amount is decreased, then the plant growth may inhibited or the plant can't be complete its life cycle, means can't reproduce, can't form birds, can't form flowers, etc., etc. And these are the micronutrients. Micronutrients we know which is required by the plant less than 10 millimole kg inverse, or we can say 0.1 milligram. 0.1 milligram. Clear, students? So 0.1 milligram per ml in dry weight. Clear? So they are iron, this is iron, ferrous, then your copper, then bromine, zinc, manganese and molybdenum. These are the micronutrients. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. As I have told you in my yesterday's class, there are 17 type of nutrients which is required by plant, but 4 is only required by the higher plants. These 13 elements is the most important elements or minerals that is required by all the plants for their overall growth and development. Out of which 6 is macronutrient. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is macronutrient and 7 is micronutrient, which is needed by the plant in a specific amount. Means it is required in large amount, whereas it is required in less amount. So what is the function of these macro and micronutrients? In which form it is taken by the plant, and what will happen if the amount of these nutrients get increased or decreased? How they will affect the plant? We will study about this in our next class.